Welcome back, everybody, to the Critics Corner. I'm Andrew Branca with the Waxahachie Sun, and I'm here with my friend, colleague, and Mr. Movie Aficionado. No, it's not the Movie Tone Man. It's Mr. David Dunn here.
Movie Tone Man?
Oh, the movie guy. Welcome to Movie Tone.
Welcome to Movie Town.
How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I got my coffee. I got my movies. I got my Jackass. I got everything I need.
Hey, that's not nice to talk about me like that. Come on. Well, since you brought
up accurate. No.
Since you brought up that term, we've got a very kind of special movie that we're going to be talking about today.
Oh, such a special movie. Nice.
And if you don't know what it is by that theme song, you didn't watch a lot of MTV or grow up in the early 2000s and 90s. So we're talking about the latest and hopefully last inclination of the Jackass franchise, Jackass Forever.
Yeah, Jackass hopefully not forever is more
yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say there's really a story to go with this movie. It's just a bunch of random guys going out and doing stupid crap to themselves. I mean, that's the whole movie.
That's been its brand ever since the 2000s, man. Anytime you see that logo pop up on the screen, Johnny Knoxville saying, "Warning: these stunts should not be attempted at home." No, duh. And yeah, you go through an hour and a half of cringy tomfoolery that just makes you grab your groin and go, "Ow!"
Yeah. Well, before we dive deep into this, no pun intended. Here's the trailer for Jackass Forever. Enjoy and don't do any of these Jackass kind of stunts that they do at all.
Please don't.
Okay.
Please don't.
Enjoy the trailer.
The world waited for what felt like forever. Then, we waited longer. But this February, we promise.
It's gonna be the gnarliest shit ever.
The wait is over.
Hello, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. When you get knocked down, you gotta get back up.
If they trust us to go to the bathroom, they're less intelligent than I thought.
Life in the drawer, but I know enough to know. If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough.
You're still blowing people up. As if life's not hard enough.
This guy's one badass dude right here.
Oh man, I'm on Jackass.
It's a Texas rat snake.
Venomous? Francis hits harder than any heavyweight in MMA. I told Aaron it was a lightweight.
That's not a lightweight. What are you guys talking about?
My ass!
We're in this together, Pops.
What's the worst that can happen?
You said it wasn't gonna feel like anything.
I just need you to sit with my grandpa. Just make sure he doesn't smoke.
There ain't a bunch of NASA scientists writing this.
Can I get a cold brew?
Will you make him an actual coffee, Stephanie?
Here, I made you another one.
It's gotta be over, dude. I think we're all the way finished. We're through. Stick a fork in it.
Well, yeah. I can't say I was surprised about going to see this movie. I kind of knew what was going to happen. More male nudity that I really wish to explore.
Yeah.
It's like these guys are in their 50s, and it's kind of sad, kind of in a way. Kind of now they're borderline. Almost Knoxville's 49, and you know, the rest of them, you can tell they've aged. They've got salt and pepper hair, and they're acting like they're 16, 15, 18 years old still. And it's just it's kind of sad in a way, but you kind of can't help but laugh in a way. And it's just kind of one of those, should I laugh at this or should I not?
It's a train wreck in every way it can be. And I'm not saying that in a good or bad way. I'm saying regardless of whether you view this film positively or negatively, it's absolutely a train wreck. It's fascinating to watch because you can't, you want to look away, but you can't. There's so many things. Andy, I'm scarred for life now because of the stinking movie. What the heck are these idiots? Like you said, they're 50 and 40-year-old guys. What are you doing this at this age for? Thank God. Yeah, so you can't, we've already talked about this. You can't really critique the story because there isn't one.
There's not a story with this. No.
You can't really critique the direction, the acting, the writing. There is none of that. The only thing you could really critique are the stunts and the sheer insanity of them. Now, just to kind of put you in perspective how I feel towards the Jackass series overall, I'm actually a relatively new fan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I never watched them growing up. I've actually started watching them more in the past year because my girlfriend's a big fan of them. So
that's surprising.
Yeah, so I more or less binge Jackass in the past, year or so.
You mean the television show or the movies?
The movies.
Okay.
I've seen a few clips from the television show, including Viva La Bam, the spinoff. God, I miss Bam. Bam was I would have loved to have seen Bam in this movie. Though, to be fair, him not being in this movie does mean he spared the pain of being in it. So maybe it was a good thing. I don't know. Where do I start with these stunts, Andy? Jamie. First of all, you already laid it out. There's a lot more male nudity in this movie than there are in previous. I'm not as concerned about the male nudity, although it's definitely.
I'm just saying, reenacting Godzilla with a certain part of the human anatomy for the first opening scene.
That was horrific, and
that
then
was disgusting.
And then having the Godzilla anatomy fighting a snapping turtle, and having the snapping turtle bite Godzilla.
Yeah.
Horrible image.
Yeah.
I hated it.
I
hated it.
And all that. Oh,
yeah.
Boy.
And unfortunately, the movie keeps up its obsession with nut injuries. I feel really, really bad. The cast member I feel the most bad for, and I'm shocked he was the only one that ever got any of this damage. Was Aaron McGahee, who at various points got his nuts punched by a heavyweight boxer.
Yeah, Cody Gibson.
Railed with a ball through a softball pitcher.
Hockey puck.
Yeah, to a hockey puck, to literally having someone pogo jump on his nuts. Like, how is he having kids at this point? There has to be nothing there left. And watching those scenes, I'm not even enjoying it. I'm not even laughing. Like, oh, look at this guy getting his nuts crushed. I'm sitting there like, stop.
Well, let me correct myself. It wasn't Cody. It was Francis Nagahano, I guess. He's a UFC heavyweight fighter.
Oh, yeah. The name, whoever it is, doesn't matter. You're punching this guy with like a 200-pound quadruple force. Like,
yeah.
How is that entertaining to watch?
Or Johnny Knoxville getting, hit by that bull. And I read afterwards that he was had injuries lasting for about 3 months. He had limited cognitive ability on some things. I'm like, why?
Dude straight up went to the hospital. Yeah, he was hospitalized for that.
Or the super wedgie with Wee Man. I mean, come on. Oh, that just makes me hurt all over.
I think the absolute worst one was when the bees were involved with Steve-O.
In a certain area.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, Steve-O doesn't like bees, right? That was covered in one of the previous movies. Steve-O is afraid of bees.
Yeah, and what's funny is Family Guy actually spoofed Jackass, and they did a stunt with Quagmire, essentially, which was the same kind of thing where they put bees on his area. So I don't know if Jackass was saw that Family Guy episode, or they just decided to do that on their own. But
I'm just
very
saying,
much the same.
Yeah, I'm just saying, regarding the pain that Steve-O and Aaron McGahee had to endure in this movie, I know it's a $50 million budget. I don't know how much you gave them. I don't care. It's not enough. It's not enough.
They spent $50 million on this film.
They spent $50 million on this, Andy. They spent.
Boy, that makes that $50 million. There wasn't any special stunts or anything. I mean, they went to Home Depot and watched the pool.
But yeah, no. Just speaking in terms. Look, I don't know how big of a Jackass fan you are. I consider myself a mild fan. Obviously, it's juvenile. Obviously, it's violent. Obviously, over the top. It's ball-brained and stupid. It's not able to be like, Abbott Costello or nothing like that. But it's body humor, and there is some enjoyment to be had in there. As usual,
kind of the upgrade of laughing at a fart.
Yeah. And to be fair, some things they have up the ante a little bit. As usual, Johnny Knoxville's Bad Grandpa segment in this movie was one of the funniest stunts. Love that stunt.
Oh, him in the mattress store. That was great.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And there were other stunts in here. I think the mime bit was hilarious. And the tap dancing electric floor with Tyler the Creator. That was very clever, and I was laughing spot off through the whole thing.
Food truck bit with the airbag.
Yes, the food truck bit with Eric Andre. That was great too. There are funny moments throughout this, but I look at this and I look at like previous Jackass films, right? Like the last stunt in Jackass 2, where they pretended that the cast members got kidnapped in that taxi. That was hilarious. I was busting my gut through the whole thing. Jackass 3 with the Wee Man bar fight. That was hilarious. And they're clever and funny, and they subvert your expectations in unexpected ways. I don't feel like there's any of that in this movie. I feel like it's just shock humor.
Yeah, it did feel like a lot of it. Well, funny in some degree. It did seem like they were reusing a lot of previous material. There wasn't anything. I mean, one of my favorite stunts from a Jackass, I'm not going to call it film because film implies that it's of a higher caliber than this.
It's a different kind of film.
I will graciously say the word movie. Came from Jackass 3D, where there's a stunt featuring Steve-O, the Poo Cocktail Supreme, which I always laugh at, which essentially they strap put Steve-O in a harness and a seat inside a porta potty and strap that porta potty to one of those bungee cord things that slings you up in the air.
That is one of the most horrifying and hilarious stunts I've ever seen. And the only thing that tops it is Britney Spears being in it. That makes it all the more better.
Yeah. I mean, but as far as really originality and getting into some of the stuff they did, it just felt like kind of a rehash of well, we're out of money, so want to make another movie? Yeah.
It was a little bit of a rehash mixed with some original ideas and mixed with a lot of testicle harm. Like we've talked about we talked about Quentin Tarantino before on this show before, and how he seems weirdly obsessed with nut shots in his movies, just like making the most gruelingly awful and cringy violence towards testicles we've ever seen. This movie ups the ante even by that much. Like, if I never, ever have seen another stunt involving harm to someone's testicles ever again, the Jackass movie, I will rewatch like 50 Quentin Tarantino movies in a row. Like I'll be completely fine with it as long as I never have to see anything like this again. Which, again, to be fair, I give credit to the stuntmen in this movie. They did a good job. I'm just saying, you look at it, you're like, okay, someone pogo sticked on your stick. Why? For a couple million.
And I gotta say, really, they brought a MythBuster in on this, Tori Belleci. Come on, Tori, you have a lot more class than that. Really?
Does he though?
I don't know. I always thought he kind of did. I mean, it was just, I don't know. It was just, I felt bad for him. Maybe he was working off of something he got on parole, or just had a credit card bill he had to pay off. I get it, I guess.
I don't know. But the thing that's, yeah, and the thing about this movie is I look at it, I can look through Jackass 1 through 3 and confidently say they're funny. They're cringy, they're painful, but they're funny. This one is kind of funny, but it's more painful than it is funny. I cringed way more than I laughed in this movie. And maybe that speaks to my taste more than it does others. But I was hurting through this whole thing, and I was not enjoying being hurt.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it was definitely yeah, it was definitely more cringeworthy than funny in a lot of ways.
But the thing that, so, okay, go ahead.
And I believe I also saw Tony Hawk in this movie at the beginning of the. I mean, did I miss that?
Tony Hawk was a cameo at the very beginning of the movie, which I think is hilarious that he had a cameo at the introduction, but was nowhere else to be seen on the whole movie. He's one of the few wise guys in the movies. He's just like, nope, I want to be here for the stage portion. I do not want to be here for the stunts. I'm out of here. Bye. Like, he had the wise, the wisdom to get out when he could.
Yeah, I thought that was him in it. So, okay, well, I think we've kind of talked about this to death. I mean, just overall, I guess Jackass Forever. What do you kind of give this movie here?
So it's weird because Jackass is one of those franchises that's somewhat immune to criticism. Like, if you say like this is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, Johnny Knoxville and the cast would just be like, yeah, we know, we intentionally did it that way. So I am going to give Jackass Forever a very, very rare score on this channel. I am going to give Jackass Forever a porta potty out of 10. It's weird, it's random, it's cringy, it's gross. I don't like it. It may be exactly what the creators intended. I don't care. I never want to see it again. Porta potty out of 10 from David Dunn for Jackass Forever. Hopefully not forever.
I give it 1.5 stars out of 10. It was tired material. It's not really anything. It's like, holy, I didn't know they were. Wow, dang. There wasn't really that type of moment there for me or anything.
Yeah, I disagree. I think the whole movie is that, but it's not inspiring awe.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm meaning. It's not inspiring awe or anything. I'm saying there were cringeworthy moments, but nothing like, wow, or holy cow.
Yeah. There was nothing anywhere near as clever or kind of self-aware as there was in Jackass 2 or 3. I mean, even Bad Grandpa had a lot of these same stunts, but it had a touching and an interesting story to go along with it. This is just it's skit comedy. It's skit comedy. It's body harm. And if you love this that type of genre, you'll love this movie. I am indifferent to it, which is why I was indifferent to this movie.
Yeah. I don't know if it would be better if Bam was in the movie or not. I know from what I've read, he's had a number of issues with substance abuse and something, and they kind of took a stand on that. Well, you're not healthy enough, or you don't have that in control of your life, and that's why you're not going to be in it. And I do applaud them for doing that. And I know guys like Steve-O, for example, battled with that for years, and he's actually very, very sober now.
Yeah, which I'm glad for that. Like, you know, it's like the behind the scenes stuff that touches you, right? Like, you know, the insider, you know, struggles between Steve-O and Bam, you know, the stories of Johnny Knoxville with his dad, and, you know, him wanting to do a fourth Jackass movie because of his dad. The behind the scenes stuff is the most touching. The movie itself, I'm like, porta potty out of 10. But at the very least, I am glad they made a fourth movie. I'm glad they had fun with it, apparently. But don't do any more. Your bodies literally cannot take anymore. If I see a 70-year-old Johnny Knoxville hopping into a cannon with his cane and his walker, and he's being shot up to the sky and belly flops into a lake, I'm not going to feel bad for him. It's like, you're doing this to yourself. Why? Stop, please.
Well, it's going to be either Jackass Nursing Home Edition or Jackass Funeral Home Edition. I mean,
I do think it's funny that we saw an older variation of Johnny Knoxville in Bad Grandpa. I know it's makeup and everything, but we saw an older Johnny Knoxville do a semi-quasi Jackass movie and Bad Grandpa. So I do think it's funny that, like, hey, we technically already got a Jackass 5 in that, or 4, however you want to consider it. But in terms of the Jackass movies, I definitely think Bad Grandpa is the best, followed by 3 and 2, and 1 and 4 are like toss-ups. You can flip a coin on them and choose which one is more tolerable versus which is more painful.
Yeah, and they're all painful to a degree. Just watching what they do to themselves, like, really. I mean, if that's the price of fame, count me out.
Exactly. I'll stick at home. I'll stick at home doing my live streaming, do the Critics Corner.
I'm good with unbroken bones and bruises and contusions and trips to the hospital, so I'm good with that. So
exactly.
Well, since we've thoroughly gone through this movie, that's going to do it for today. So if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or want to talk movies with us, give us a shout here on the Critics Corner, and we'll be glad to chat you up. So we will see you guys back here next week at the quarter. Take care and see you at the cinema.
See you at the cinema, everybody. And remember, do not try these stunts at home. Seriously.